Hare Krishna. Let us wait for a minute or two.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Jai. Thank you so much for joining your valuable association. Here it's super cold and windy. I'm outside walking.
Yes, I can see beautiful ambience behind you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Prabhupada ki jai. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya. Upa sindhu bhyo patanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo. Nantakudu Vaishnava ki jai. Prabhu will speak from Gaur Lila. ISKCON. Bonus for Vice President. His Holiness Bhaktichar Swaman as a disciple. Are fortunate to have his association today. Let us hear attentively. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Take it away.
Hare Krishna. So I'll just switch off my video because I'm traveling.
Sure.
I'm
Yep.
returning from Mayapur.
Yeah, no problem.
ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवादी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा. So this is my great fortune to be here with all the devotees. So I'm sharing my screen. Uh, we'll read from a particular section from Chaitanya Chaitamrita. I hope that my screen is visible.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. So this is Antilila, chapter 16, and the first section is actually describing a devotee named Kalidas. So, so we'll read from the Chaitanya Chaitamrita section. It's a very beautiful section, and there are so many lessons that we can derive from this particular section. So, Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanyam Krishna Bhavnamritam Hiyaha Aswadaswadayan Bhaktan Prema Diksham Ashikshayat. So let me offer my respectful obeisances unto Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who personally tasted nectar of ecstatic love for Krishna and then instructed his devotees how to taste it. Thus, he enlightened them about ecstatic love of Krishna to initiate them into transcendental knowledge. So, as we see, this Chaitanya Chaitamrita, the chapters are very big, and within one heading, within one chapter, there are so many themes covered. So sometimes it becomes very difficult for us to find out which particular pastime is in which place. Plus, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, uh, like in the in the Adi Lila also he is mentioned about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ecstatic symptoms. Is also mentioned about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, tasting the nectar of Krishna's lotus feet, Krishna's lotus lips, and then Madhya Lila also somewhere he is described. In Antilila also he is described. So sometimes it becomes quite, in Bhagavad Gita, themes are systematically arranged. In Bhagavatam also, the chapters are very systematically arranged. But in Chaitanya Chaitamrita, sometimes it looks like as if, because, and there was the need, Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami thought that he should first present the summary of the entire pastime so that, he was already 90 years and more, and he wasn't sure that he'll be able to complete uh, his Chaitanya Chaitamrita. So he thought that he should first give the preliminary understanding, or what we call it as a summarized version, and then he wanted to elaborate it. So therefore, certain pastimes they come in the beginning also, and they come afterwards also. So now what we are doing is like um, we are compiling a kind of a dictionary sort of, where we can arrange Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's different pastimes according to different themes, and that will be helpful for all the devotees. This particular section that we are reading, this particular chapter that we are reading today, is describing many things, but the initial theme is a devotee named Kalidas is being referred here. So who was Kalidas and what was his quality and why he received mercy of Sriman Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? It's very important. And then we'll also see that how this particular, uh, this particular theme or this particular lesson that we are deriving from Kalidas we can apply in our everyday lives. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. एई मत महाप्रभु रहे न नीला चले भक्तगण संगे सदा प्रेमा विह्वले. So this is how Sriman Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was staying in Nilachala. Bhakt Gana Sange Sada Prema Vivale. And he was participating in different pastimes, loving exchanges between all his devotees, and always merged in ecstatic devotional love. वर्षांतरे आइला सब गौड़ेर भक्तगण पूर्ववत आसी कैला प्रभुरा मिलन. So this was the tradition that every year devotees from Bengal used to come to Nilachala. And that was one of the reasons that why Shachi Mata wanted Sriman Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to stay in Nilachala in Jagannath Puri, because every year that was a custom, that was a tradition that devotees used to come from Bengal to Odisha to Jagannath Puri to take darshan of Lord Jagannath. So Shachi Mata thought that if Nimai will stay in Jagannath Puri, so then his news can be easily received by Shachi Mata. Shachi Mata will be able to receive the news of Nimai very easily. Whereas if Nimai will go to Vrindavan, so then it will be difficult for her to get the news of Nimai Pandit or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this was the external reason that why Shachi Mata instructed Nimai Pandit, Nimai, or after Sannyas, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, to stay in Jagannath Puri. So that was the custom. And this is still the custom that so many devotees from Bengal, they used to come to Odisha to take darshan of Jagannath. Recently, government of West Bengal, under the leadership of their chief minister Mamata Banerjee, so they made a very similar Jagannath style temple in Digha. It's on the border between Odisha and Bengal. Digha is it's on this on the ocean, Bay of Bengal coast. So so in Odisha, the government and the Puri administration, so they were very angry that how can she make temple like this? Because they thought that if the devotees will not come from Bengal to Jagannath Puri, so then how they are, because most of the pandas and most of the businesses are running, but because of the devotees coming from Bengal, that is one of the reasons that they were concerned. Anyway, Jagannath is Jagannath. No other temple can actually replace Jagannath temple naturally. So, but still, that was the consideration. Why? Because this is the very old tradition from thousands of years. Bengali devotees, they used to come to Jagannath Puri to take darshan of Lord Jagannath. So, Varshantare, so this next year so every year they were coming. So this particular year also they came, and so then, and the tradition is like when devotees from Bengal they used to come. First, they used to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu they used to go to temple to take darshan of Jagannath. So this was the regular custom. So this year also they repeated that same custom. ता तान सवार संगे आइला कालिदास नाम कृष्ण नाम बिना तेहो नहीं कहे आन. And then with all these devotees, there was a gentleman named uh, Kalidas who came with all these devotees, and he was always chanting the holy name of Krishna. Nothing else. He was saying nothing else. Only simply chanting. He was a very simple devotee. Uh, महाभागवत ते हो सरल उदार कृष्ण नाम संकेते चलाए व्यवहार. He was a Mahabhagavat. He was a great devotee, and he always used to chant Krishna Nam. And Krishna Nam Sankete Chalaye Vyavhar. And he doesn't speak anything. Simply by Krishna Nam, I used to make ordinary dealings. So, so that means he was completely absorbed in his chanting, and with the Krishna Nam only he used to do ordinary dealings. Even in ISKCON, we do ordinary dealings with, Krishna Nam, Haribol, Prabhu, Haribol. So Haribol is a what we call, it's a universal term. We we express all the feelings with Haribol. If either we are sad or we are jubilant or we want something, we want to give something, whatever. So with this Haribol, it's a universal term. So, so the Kalidas was using Krishna Nam for ordinary dealings also. And he doesn't speak anything else other than Krishna Nam. So that was his vyavhar. That was his nature. कौतिके ते हो जदि पाशक खिलाया हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण करी पाशक चलाया. So sometimes they used to play dice. Of course, they were just playing and just for fun. And so somebody will say Hare Krishna, and then they throw the dice. So that is how they were doing it. So that means in every dealing, either they were playing or they were uh, doing any kind of dealing, they were simply chanting Krishna Nam. रघुनाथ दासेरते हो है ज्ञाति कूड़ा वैष्णवेरा उच्छिष्ट खाइते ते हो हैला बुड़ा. So So Kalidas was an uncle of Raghunath Das Goswami throughout his entire life. Even in his old age, he tried to eat the remnants of food left by Vaishnavas. So that was his great quality. So the section that we are reading today is about Kalidas, and what was the great quality of Kalidas, that he used to eat the remnants of foodstuff that was left by the Vaishnavas. Of course, the word prasad and the word remnant, they are not on the equal platform. But because His Holiness Radha Govinda Maharaj used to say the English is very poor language, because there are many terms that we can we cannot actually express in English. Say for example, dharma. Prabhupada has written in Bhagavad Gita introduction that dharma, the word dharma and religion are not on the same platform, because dharate dharma means that sustains. Dharma is something which deals with the duties of mankind, the duties of different varna and ashram, and so on and so forth. Duties of duty on a bodily platform, duty on the transcendental platform. So dharma word, but religion is has something to do with faith, and faith can change. But dharma, guna dharma, the dharma of water is to flow, the dharma of the sugar is to be sweet, so it cannot be changed. Mm. But the faith can change. This is how Prabhupada is described in Bhagavad Gita. So, but English language cannot actually, what we call, uh, give full meaning. Why is it so? Because certain things are not available in the culture. It's not just the language that communicates the idea; it's also the culture that communicates the idea. So, for example, prasadam. So, prasadam is something which is pertaining to the Vedic culture. In West, in Christian or Islamic, cultures, we don't find anything called prasadam. Of course, these days uh, Christians have started to follow Indian culture, Hindu culture. They have started offering bhoga to Jesus Christ. They have also started doing, Ganga Jal for baptism, and they have also started uh, uh, what we call it. Jesus Gayatri. So these are the things that they're introducing. They have replaced Garud Samba with they have replaced Garuda with cross, and but the Stamba is still there. So these things have come up. So sometimes so we have to question whether you know they are converting Hindus, or Christianity is being converted into Hinduism. So why the point is they do not have that culture. uh, Long back, I was giving a presentation to some European students. They came to a temple, and one of the European student, he was a teenager, so he had a pocket Bible in his. He's a small pocket Bible in his pocket. So he uh, he took it out from his pocket, and then suddenly he started to scratch his legs with pocket Bible. So the point is. I started to, contemplate. Just see, in India we have that culture. Even the ordinary mundane literature, newspaper or any novel, if somehow we touch our foot with that kind of literature, or it fell down, so we take it, we put it on our head. Why? Because we know it is Saraswati. And what to say of the transcendental literature or so religious texts like Bible or Bhagavad Gita? They should not do it like that. But they are very innocent. They don't know because that is not in their culture. Whereas in our culture, these things are very prominent. These things are, if we put foot on anything which has something written on that, so we feel as if we have offended Saraswati, and then immediately we put it on our head. So that is why is it so? Because it is in our culture. So it's not that only language communicates the idea, it's also about the culture that communicates the idea. And that is why simply, you know, knowing Sanskrit does not guarantee that one will actually translate the Vedic literature. And that was the biggest mistake that was done by the English. That was the say there were so many English scholars. They learned Sanskrit and then they started to translate Vedas into English. But simply knowing Sanskrit doesn't guarantee that the translation will be correct. Why? Because translations are not sufficient. It has to be backed by the culture. And the biggest example is prasadam. Prasadam is not in the Western culture. So they cannot understand that anything which is offered to the Lord and how it becomes sanctified, how it becomes purified, how it becomes, you know, uh, same, say 50 grams or 100 grams of food stuff is put before the deity. And after taking it, again it is 50 gram or 100 gram. Nothing has changed. In terms of science and mathematics, it has not changed. But in terms of spirituality, it has now got this spiritual potency. So there are certain things that our eyes cannot measure or our logic cannot measure, but it has become prasadam. Chanakya Pandit has specifically written a verse in Chanakya Niti. It says that the Achman water that we used to do Achman, and then we used to remaining water we throw it. Uh, so we take some water in our hand, do Achman, remaining water we throw it. So Chanakya Pandit said that the water that we have thrown after Achman, it is compared with dog's urine. That means it should not be touched. Now, what is a big difference? See, it's same water only, scientifically. But Chanakya Pandit has specifically mentioned, no, it is as contaminated as dog's urine. Why? Because it is before Achman and after Achman. Similarly, when there are certain bhoga which is already offered, it has become prasadam. So we cannot touch food stuff with prasadam. Why? Because if we touch, so it also become the bhoga becomes prasadam. Now, what exactly is what molecules are transferring from bhoga to from prasadam to bhoga? We don't know. So it cannot be explained logically. Things There are certain things that cannot be explained logically. So, but it has transcendental value. So things are to be seen on different platforms. So prasadam is something. It has the spiritual value, or the transcendental value. And the question is that what's the proof? The proof is there are there are many devotees who became exalted by simply by having prasadam. And the greatest example is Narad Muni. Narad Muni honored the prasadams of the Bhakti Vedantas uh, and the remnants of the food of the Bhakti Vedantas who used to stay at their residence. And Narad Muni's mother used to serve them. And simply by that prasad, that the potency of that prasadam, Narad Muni became Narad Muni. The son of a maid servant, he eventually became very exalted, and he achieved the position of Narad Muni. The point is, that means achieve the position that mean he became Narad Muni in the next life. So that's the potency of prasadam. So there are many stories also related to how Srila Prabhupada's prasadam transformed someone's heart. And we have also heard so many stories. Even in ISKCON, if we ask, so many devotees, they come to ISKCON and they become members of ISKCON, they become devotees in ISKCON, and the major credit goes to prasadam. Now, what is there in the prasadam? there must be some spiritual potency. And how Prabhupada used to keep, bullets, ISKCON bullets, and used to fire ISKCON bullets, and ISKCON bullets were actually acting. Our entire movement is called kitchen religion. So the point is, prasadam has value. Even we may know, we may not conceive of it with our material logic. The point is, but we cannot, in English, word remanent is not equivalent to the prasadam, but somehow we are trying to make things. Say, for example, there the word called demigod. So this particular word was actually coined by Srila Prabhupada, and and because if you write capital God and small god, people will not understand, because the Western people, and even in India also, the impersonalists, they don't have any idea. They think that God and demigods, the supreme personality, they're all different. And even Prabhupada specifically mentioned supreme personality of God because he want to make it clear, because the God, the perception of God, the conception of God, God, capital God, is somewhat impersonal. Therefore, Prabhupada specifically emphatically mentioned the supreme personality. So Prabhupada has actually blessed English language with certain words. So that we can learn from this particular thing. So this Kalidas, his what he used to do was, he used to always offer, take the remnants of the foodstuffs of the Vaishnavas. गौड़ देश है जथा वैष्णवेरा गण सभारा उच्चिष्ट तेहु करेला भोजन. And there were so many Vaishnavas in the Gauda Desh, that means in Bengal, and he used to honor the remnants of all the Vaishnavas. So such exalted personality he was. ब्राह्मण वैष्णव जैत छोटा बड़ा है उत्तम वस्तु भेट लैया तारत हाय. So he would go to all the Vaishnavas born in Brahmana family, be there with neophyte or advanced devotees, present with them with gifts and first class eatables. So there was a category, those who are born in a Brahmana family, that means the higher caste Brahmanas and higher caste devotees. Of course, when somebody is a devotee, we cannot distinguish whether he's a higher caste or the lower caste. But still, the custom is, even say, for example, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to live in the house of Tapan Chandrasekhar Acharya in Varanasi. But he used to eat in the house of Chandrasekhar. He ate in the house of Tapan Mishra. Now, Tapan Mishra was a Brahman and Chandrasekhar was a Shudra. The question may arise, why Mahaprabhu was not eating in the house of Shudra, when, because if ultimately a Vaishnava is transcendental, and he has not, and there is nothing to be considered on the bodily platform, and we even say that who is chanting the holy name of the Lord is more exalted than a you know than the greatest of Vaishnava, greatest of Brahmanas, then why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu does not eat at the house of Chandrasekhar Acharya? The reason is, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was staying in Varanasi at the time when these Mayavadi sannyasis, they were very prominent, and the entire country was actually, so much caste conscious. Now, if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would have eaten in the house of Chandrasekhar, no Mayavadi sannyasi would have heard him. They would have simply said that आपका तो धर्म भ्रष्ट हो गया, you're all your religion is already corrupted because you're eating in the house of Shudra. So therefore, Mahaprabhu does not want to question the social customs at that time, because that was not his priority. Fighting with social custom was not the priority of Sriman Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. His priority was to spread Krishna consciousness. And therefore, instead of arguing with Mayavadis, or instead of arguing with people, uh, those who were very much caste conscious, he focused on his movement of spreading Hare Krishna. So this is a very important lesson that we can derive, that instead of fighting with the system, so instead of fighting with the what we call customs, that is secondary. That is not the primary duty of a devotee. A primary duty of a missionary is to spread the movement. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very cautious because he knew that that time there were people with so much caste conscious. Similarly, in Bengal also they were caste conscious. So this particular devotee, Kalidas, he used to go to the Brahmana's house and he used to offer them food stuff and he used to eat it. But then also used to go to the Shudra's house, those devotees who were Shudra by caste. And if he'll go to Shudra's house and he'll offer something and he'll say, give me prasadam, so the Shudra will never give prasadam. There is a law which says that say somebody is born in a higher caste family and then he came to Krishna consciousness, so he must never reflect upon his past. He must never think, he should never think that, I was born in such and such high caste family or high class family, financially or, culturally or, by birth. I was born in a, high caste family. One must not reflect back. Instead, he should see forward that you know, how weak I am in my Krishna consciousness. What is the value of being born in a high caste family or high class family if I am not a good devotee? So he should exhibit his humility in that manner. That's the law. And if somebody is born in a lower caste family, uh, so the law is they should actually reflect back. Just say I was born in a very low caste family, nobody was treating me nicely, but since I have come into this Krishna consciousness, people are considering me saintly people and giving me all respects. So I'm not at all worthy of that respect because, and we can see this by the examples of Rupa and Sanatana. Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, they were born in a high caste Brahmin families because they were serving under Malecha, Yavana, the meat eater Muslims. So he was considering that, because we are working under Yavanas, so I'm not qualified to be called as a Brahmana. What to say for Vaishnava? So these devotees, what we call uh, Sanatan Goswami, Rup Goswami, what to say of walking on the grand road? They were not. What to say of going to the Jagannath temple? They were not going even on the grand road, thinking that even if our reflection will fall on the devotees of Lord Jagannath, they'll become polluted. So that level of humility was exhibited by these devotees. Uh, Similarly, Haridas Thakur, although Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made him Namacharya, but he never demanded Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that, uh, he always said that I'm born in a very low family, in a Yavana family. Why are you giving me such high title? So they were exhibiting great humility. So it is the nature of a great devotee that they are very humble by nature. There is a devotee in Odisha, his name is Shalabeg, and he's a very famous devotee. He was born in a Muslim family. He was a great devotee because his mother was a devotee, and by the good sanskaras by the mother, he became a very good devotee, Shalabeg. And in each of his writings, Shalabeg, he write down about his birth. Kahe Shal Begahina Jati re mujabana Shiranga charana tale karuachi janana. So this, in each and every song that he writes, he should give this particular line. Kahe Shala Begahina Jati re mujavana. Shalbeg used to say that I am born in a Javana family. Huh? So why he's demanding it? He said, Lord Jagannath Mahaprabhu may give me all kinds of mercy. The point is, I am fallen by birth. So we must actually, when we are staying in a devotee community, one thing is very important for all of us to understand that there should be certain points of our own weakness that we must contemplate and remain humble. And there must be certain good qualities of others that we must contemplate and always glorify them. So then we'll be happily able to sustain in a devotee community. So it's a very important lesson for all of us. There should be certain point that we must always contemplate that, I am weak in certain areas of my, um, either you know my material qualification or my habits or my upbringing or whatever. There are certain things that uh, I am slow at, I am weak at. So and therefore there is nothing for me to become proud. Even if someone glorifies us, immediately at that point, we must remember, how mischievous I am, because these points help us to remain humble. Of course, remaining humble does not mean to be in inferiority complex. That's a different extreme altogether. But these are the things that we can learn from our, from our acharyas. That acharyas never demanded for equal rights, or they never demanded for the, great positions. They always wanted to remain humble. And just see Haridas Thakur, if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Haridas Thakur could have said, Mahaprabhu, you have a very nice relationship with the king. Why don't you ask king to allow me to enter into Jagannath temple? If Haridas Thakur would have said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would have accepted. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would have requested the king also. But did Haridas Thakur uh, told Shriman Chaitanya Mahaprabhu like that? No. Rather, he accepted his humble position, and he stayed at Siddha Bakul, chanted his rounds there. And the thing is that Jagannath, in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, every day was coming and offering him prasadam. So when we say that don't try to see Krishna, act in such a way that Krishna sees you, so Haridas Thakur is the best example. Instead of asking for equal rights, accepted the humble position. So our movement is actually struggling. Every day you'll find sudden news is coming, this scandal happened, that scandal happened, this fight happened, this fight happened, this politics is going in this particular community, and administration, and temple management, this and thing on the bureau level, the GBC level, and so many every day fighting. When we go attend, I went to Mayapur to attend certain meetings. So every day, we are always on firefighting zone. Huh? So, in fact, I was hearing a lecture by His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. It was 2002 lecture. I guess Maharaj left in 2002 only. So, maybe a few months before his departure. So, Maharaj was, giving lecture, and in the lecture, he became quite frustrated. He said, in our society, uh, there people are backstabbing, and people are trying to, create problems for one another. If problem would have come from outside, it would not have troubled us so much. The point is, problem is coming from inside. The reason is we are not pure, and we all are hankering for. We have so many material desires for power, position, and prestige, and therefore we are trying to fight. We are fighting, and we are trying to pull each other down. So Tamal Krishna Maharaj was considered to be the right hand of Srila Prabhupada. So he also faced so many difficulties being in the movement. The reason is because it's very natural, because our movement, so many people are coming with so many desires. But here is the standard, that the greatest humility, and the standard of humility that has been exhibited by our acharyas. So this Kalidas, he used to go to the devotees who were born in lower families, lower caste families, and if he would offer them food, so they would not accept it. Rather, if they accept it, they'll not give their remnants. So in this particular case, Kalidas went to Jadu Thakur. Jadu Thakur was born in a lower caste family. He offered him mangoes, and after offering mangoes, then Kalidas went outside and hid himself somewhere in the outskirts. And after Jadu Thakur relished these mangoes, which was brought by Kalidas, and then his wife relished, and then when they threw out the remnants, and then Kalidas to grab that remnants and then started to lick them and eat them very nicely. So why? Because if he would have asked, so this particular statement has been mentioned. He would go to the Brahmana families and they would ask for remnants, he would have got it, because Brahmanas can give. But when there was devotees like who was born in a Shudra family, they'll never give. So with trick, he used to do. Shudra Vaishnava घरे जाए भेट लैया यही मात्र तारा उच्छिष्ट खाए लुकाइया. So he would also take gifts to the homes of the Vaishnavas born in Shudra family. Then he would hide in this manner and eats the remnant of food they throw away. So this is how he was actually pleasing Sriman Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Huh? So then this section is coming where the story of Jadu Thakur is there, and because Jadu Thakur was born in a lower caste family. So uh, how using his intelligence, Kalidas used to take the remnants of the foodstuffs. And this is how Kalidas, when Kalidas used to glorify these devotees who were born in a Shudra family, so they would naturally exhibit their humility. They would say that, we are born in a Shudra family, why are you glorifying us so much? And they will never take the higher position. आम्ही नीचे जाती तुम्ही अतिथि सर्वोत्तम कौन प्रकारे करीमु आम्ही तुम्हारा सेवन. I belong to a low caste and you are a very respectable guest. How shall I serve you? Jadu Thakur used to say. आज्ञा देह ब्राह्मण घरे आना लइया दिए तहाँ तुम्ही प्रसाद पाओ तबे आमी जिए. He said, sir, if you'll permit me, I shall send some food to the Brahmana's house, and they may there you may take prasadam. If you do so, I shall live very comfortably. So the Shudra devotees, they'll never say you take prasadam in our home. They would say that you will send some foodstuffs to the some ingredients to the Brahmana's house. They'll cook it for you, and this is how will be our family will become purified. So this is how they used to, what we call maintain the etiquette. Of course, uh, with time, place, circumstances, things change. Today we do not, today these things doesn't matter that much. But that was the time when these things were really important. कालिदास कहे ठाकुर कृपा कर मोरे तुम्हारा दर्शन आईनु मुहि पतित पामरे. So instead, Kalidas used to say, why you are saying that you are a lower caste? Rather, I have come here to take darshan of you and, take blessings from you. Pavitra hainu moi painu darshan, krithartha hainu mora safala jivan. Simply by seeing you, I, I have become purified. I am very much obligated to you, for my life is now successful. So this is how एकवांचा है यदि कृपा करिकर पादर देह पाद मोरा माथे धर. So Kalas would say, I have one request. You give me dust of your lotus feet. So, so naturally that the devotee will not give it, but Kalas would request it. So this particular section, if you'll read it, because there are so many verses, you cannot just complete it. I'll just share the essence. Long back, it was starting days of my Krishna consciousness. So I was reading in Srimad Bhagavatam. So at least thrice this particular section has appeared, that how important the dust of the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas are. First time this section appears in the fifth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where uh, where King Rahugan and Jad Bharat, they have a conversation. And as we all know, King Rahugan was simply making fun of Jad Bharat, because Jad Bharat was not able to carry the palanquin nicely. And why he was not carrying the palanquin nicely? Because while carrying the palanquin, he was seeing different. There were so many ants, and because there were so many ants, so he could not just move. Just not see the ants and move. He was changing his movement so that he could not kill any ant, and this was creating a disturbance with the other palanquin carriers and the king sitting inside. And then king, he became very angry and he started to chastise Jad Bharat. He said, "You look very thin and weak," although Jad Bharat was very healthy. And this is how he was making fun. And then Jad Bharat started to speak the philosophy. Whom you're calling thin or weak, the body is made up of matter and it has nothing to do with the soul. Are you calling me thin or weak? Are you calling this body thin or weak? Or what exactly you want to say? And then when Jad Bharat started to speak in such nice words, great philosophy. So then King Rahugan got to know, my God, this is a great exalted personality. And he said, I am going to take darshan of Lord Kapila. Are you the same Kapila who has come in a disguised form and just to enlighten me? And then King Rahugan was asking so many questions, and Jada Bharat was answering. There is a good conversation. It's available in the Bhagavatam fifth canto. And then finally, King Rahugan asked that how did you how one can achieve the exalted position like you have? Huh? So what is the formula? What particular tapasya I must follow? Or what exactly should I leave my home? Should I go to the forest? Should I go to the Himalayas? What particular type of yoga and sadhana I should do? What kind of austerities I must perform?
so that I may become as exalted as you, or I may achieve the position that you have achieved. And then what what Jadbharat told, he said, Rahu gunaita tapsa na jati, na chedya nirvapanat grahitva, na cha chandasa na jalagni surye, bina mahatpad raju abhishekam. Vina mahatpad rajo abhishekam. Unless you'll smear upon your head with the dust of the feet of the great devotees, Rahu gunaita tapsa na jati. You cannot achieve this position simply by austerity. Nacha Ijya, simply by worshipping, Nirvapanad, by simply leaving home, Grahitva, or by taking care of your household nicely, Nach, Nacha Chandasa, nor by simply reading the Vedas, Jalagni Surya, in the cold, in the month of Magh, January, submerging oneself till neck in the cold Ganges water, or in the heat of summer in the desert area, putting fire all around and sitting inside. And so by all these kinds of austerity, you cannot achieve this such transcendental position. You can simply achieve this transcendental position by smearing your head with the lotus feet of the dust of the great devotees. And similar context was uh, in the seventh canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Prahlad Maharaj told his father that, my dear father, you cannot become Krishna conscious by any of the ways. If you really want to understand spiritual life, so then you have to smear your body. Anarth upagamo sakshad. What is that shlok? I just forgot the words. So unless you smear your body with the dust of the lotus feet of the great devotees, you cannot understand this transcendental
Hare
subject
Krishna
matter.
Prabhu, Naisham Matistava Durukramagam. Adartha. Yeah.
Yes, Naisha Matistava Durukramanim Sparshati Anarth Apagamo Jadartha Mayesham Pad Rajo Abhishekam Nishkinchananam Navranitayavat. So now these particular verses are not just indicative verses. It's not that they are simply indicating the lotus feet, the dust of the lotus feet of the great Vaishnavas do have that potency. And when the very first time I came to Mayapur, I don't remember who the particular devotees were. So I simply had heard about these verses, and it was my first trip to Mayapur. And I saw that there were some women devotees, foreign devotees, and they were moving behind some sannyasi. And as the sannyasi was moving, so there was the footprint of the sannyasi shoes on the dust. And I saw that these ladies, two ladies, they came immediately, they grabbed the dust, footprint, that dust, and then they put on their head. For the very first time I saw that, I was thinking these verses are just indicative, they're simply indicating something. But I saw, no, in reality there were devotees, those who actually honored the dust of the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas. So, and in ISKCON, at least we have this culture. We wash the lotus feet of the, saintly people, the sannyasis, and sprinkle that water on our heads, because this culture is it's practically missing everywhere now. Of course, in Odisha, Bengal, that culture is there, but through ISKCON, this culture is still prevalent. When for the very first time I saw that, I was a student, and when I saw that, devotees wash the lotus feet of my spiritual master, I was not at all initiated. I was a new devotee. I was just starting my Krishna conscious journey as a student. But I saw that with such sincerity, they washed the lotus feet of my spiritual master. He went for a program there. He was not at all my spiritual master that time, of course. So, and then they sprinkle that water and Dukta Charnamrita. And I thought that, these people, either they are crazy or they are actually serious about, something. Because simple to wash someone's feet, and then, sprinkle that water on head, is it easy? We do not give that much importance to all this, because it was all only in television shows or in, movies it was fine, but to see something like this in real life, it was. So ISKCON is actually still preserving that culture. In fact, we have heard that Prabhupada personally taught his disciples, you must do like this. Such with such great humility. With such great humility, Prabhupada is writing his own pranam mantra. With great humility, Prabhupada is teaching, okay, you wash my lotus feet like this, and you put different ingredients like this, and then you take Charnamrita. My God. Somebody from outside, they may say that Prabhupada is, he's just, so arrogant. But see, Prabhupada is teaching personally because out of his great humility, because his disciples are not coming from the culture where these things are given importance. In fact, I would say in my childhood, I have observed that, I was a very fanatic. I don't know, from right from my birth, even I never used to eat the remnants of my parents. If somebody would have touched my plate, I will never eat. That was right from the childhood. I don't know from where it was coming. And when we used to go to school, in school it's common that your friends, your classmate, they used to snatch away your paratha or your sandwich. And it's a regular custom. If somebody will, you have a tiffin box, and your tiffin box will be shared by 10 people. But I had this for I was so, I don't know from where it was coming. If somebody would have touched my tiffin box, I will never eat it. Give the entire tiffin box to that person. I'll remain hungry. I'll not give it to someone. So now, even if somebody will eat at home, also it's very common that parents, you eat from your parents' plate, and parents eat from your plate. So it's just it because it enhances love and affection. Huh? So, but I never did it, and never allowed anyone to do it. So even if if they did not, if right from the childhood, if they used to serve food, and if the this what we call spoon will touch the plate, and I become very angry, upset, how you can do it. So that's good in sense of cleanliness, and what we call it, Vaishnava etiquette. I was not a Vaishnava at all, but that etiquette I was following, and I was very Brahminical in that sense. We are not Brahmins, we were Kshatriyas. uh, like I'm coming from a Kshatriya background, but I had that particular custom. But there is a one unfortunate thing that has happened, and what is that? After reading this particular section of Chaitanya Charitamrita, where Vaishnava Pada Dhuli are Vaishnava Pada Jal, Vaishnava Bhakta Uchishta Tina Mahabal. So this particular shloka is coming in this section only. That Vaishnava Bhakta Uchishta uh, has great potency to deliver someone from the clutches of material energy. This is same thing has been spoken by Lord Krishna to Uddhava. That prasadam has such great prasadam clothes, prasadam mala, and prasadam food. It has so much potency that it can bring a conditioned living entity out of its conditioning. Why? And Prabhupada used to give the example. Why is it so? Because just like if somebody is suffering from tuberculosis, if we'll take their remnant, so we'll also become affected by tuberculosis. Similarly, if somebody is suffering from a tuberculosis of Krishna consciousness, Krishna Prema, if we'll take the remnants, so then we'll also catch that disease of Krishna consciousness. But the point is, because of my particular upbringing or my particular nature right from my childhood, even today it becomes difficult for me to honor the prasadam of the great devotees. And that's the very unfortunate thing that I'm still facing. So I'm requesting all the devotees kindly bless me, so that I may hear this particular section, this chapter. And I just quote that particular verse where Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is specifically mentioning, then one must give up all kind of yes, 50th verse. ताते वैष्णव झूठा खाओ छाड़ी गृहणालाज यहाँ हईते पाइबा निज वांछित सब काज. तो ताते वैष्णवेरा झूठा खाओ छाड़ी गृहणालाज. So है ना, therefore giving up hatred and hesitation, try to eat the remnants of the food of the Vaishnavas, for you will be able to achieve your desired goal of life. It's a very great learning that the Chaitanya Charitamrita is offering us. But up till today, it is difficult for me because I have made my uh, mind like that. Like even today, it's become difficult. Somebody give me the prasadam of the Maharajas or sannyasis coming. It become difficult for me to honor it. Uh, but uh, but that should not be there as per the Chaitanya Charitamrita lesson. Krishnera Uchishta Haya Mahaprasadnam Bhakta Shesha Haile Mahaprasad Akhyan. Krishna's even I feel, we are offering it to DT and Krishna, we are getting Mahaprasad. But if Krishna will personally eat and he'll offer it to me, I don't know will I be able to take it or not because of my upbringing conditioning. So, but here it is said that Krishna's prasadam is called Mahaprasadam, whereas Bhakta's Prasadam is called Mahaprasadam. And therefore it is said, Bhakta Pad Dhuliyara, Bhakta Pada Jal, Bhakta Bhukta Avashesha Tina Mahabal. So Bhakta Pad Dhuliyar, Bhakta Pada Jal, Bhakta Bhukta Avashesha Tina Mahabal. The dust of the feet of the devotee, the water that has washed the feet of the devotee, and the remnants of food left by devotee, these three are very powerful substances for someone to progress his future life. I'll just tell one real incident. I'll end. So this is a story that I heard in our temple long before. Uh, Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj. So he used to live in a mud hut. It was just right in the front of our temple, and there was inside a small office room. And Maharaj's secretary, he told Maharaj that His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj has given a call and he wanted to talk something. So Maharaj came from his mud hut to his office area, uh, and he received the call of His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj, and then they were talking something. And then Gaur Govind Maharaj was an elderly person, or elderly personality, and he had some cough. So he just told his secretary to get some, because he was already in the call, and that was not mobile phone at that time. It was a landline phone. He cannot just go. So he simply gave some ishara, some indication, and so the secretary gave him one dona, what we call leaf dona, and Maharaj had cough, and Maharaj just poured that cough, and so he just, and that secretary, he gave it to his servant. You just throw it out. And his servant, so the secretary is, another servant. He gave it to that person, and you just throw it out. And this particular devotee, that particular day, he has read the verses from Srimad Bhagavatam. Uchishta lepan anumodito dvijan. How these Bhakti Vedanta, how Narad Muni became a devotee simply by honoring the remnants of the foodstuffs. And he had such a great conviction that remnants of the Vaishnavas have such a great potency. It will look disgusting to us. I know, we cannot even imagine. I cannot even imagine. But this particular devotee, he was so much convinced, and he had such faith on the words of Srimad Bhagavatam, and he swallowed that, cup that Gauragovinda Maharaj, just split it. And now somebody may ask, what happened to that devotee? This question is very natural. So this devotee is His Holiness Haldar Swami Maharaj. So when he was in his new devotee time, he got the mercy of his spiritual master by eating the, not just remnant, the cup that conviction. And even today we see Maharaj has such a great conviction. From where he's getting that great conviction? I guess he's getting from that particular, uh, Krishna conscious split. So the point is, these are the important formulas that, so not just the lectures or not just the theory it will work. Our Krishna consciousness have a great culture, and out of which one of the important aspect of the culture is the Mahaprasad of the devotees, and the Padadhuli of the devotees, and the Padajal of the devotees. So when we say that we honor Padadhuli and Padajal of the devotee, then what to say of the words that are emanating from the lotus mouth of the devotees? So so much respect has been given. The problem arises when we are centered around so many devotees, we tend to forget their transcendental nature, and we become enamored, or we become what we call taken away by the externals, and therefore we start to make offense. So being in a devotee association is very good, but the problem is we tend to forget the qualities of their devotional qualities, and start to contemplate over their material qualities, material nature. as a result start making offenses, and this is very natural. So therefore but we have to learn from nectar of instruction. Rupa Goswami says that Gangam Bhasam Budbuda Sakhalu Budbuda Phena Pankya Brahma Dharvatva Api Gacchati Nira Dharmai. As I am quoting this verse, we are passing from Kolkata over that Ganges. Gangam Bhasam Sakhalu Budbuda Phena Pankya. Ganga Bhasam means water of the Ganges. Even the water of the Ganges, even if there is muddy, foamy, but still it should be considered pure. And what we do when we go into the Ganges, we remove all those dirty things with our hand and take advantage of Ganges water. Similarly, when we are associating with devotees, we must remove all those, what is coming to us, as their material qualities or externals, and try to immerse ourselves in their transcendental nature. So that is a very important lesson that all can derive. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Tukaram Prabhu. Very nice, beautiful class, beautiful points to practice Krishna conscious. How great our Krishna conscious culture is. Please come again and again for this forum, and also please come. Yeah, you're coming in March. Prabhu Tukaram Prabhu is coming March. I think we have Sunday feast class, and we're trying to arrange some other classes as well. Prabhu, March second week, we'll post the details and dates when we will be here. So thank you very much. All glories to you, Prabhu. Wonderful explaining this chapter. Upcoming events. This Thursday is Ekadasi. Friday is Sri Iswarapuri Maharaj, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's spiritual master. Disappearance day. So fasting is optional. Then Sunday is Sivaratri. Then the biggest festival coming up is March 3rd. Tuesday is Gaur Purnima. Getting ready for that. A lot of goals to distribute books. And invite more and more people to this festival weekday. So we'll be celebrating in the evening. And a lot of help. Cooking will start from afternoon 12 or 1. And then, we'll need help in setting up and all day before. So Sunday night, we should set up so that we can be ready with things on Tuesday. Please let us know if you would like to serve in any capacity anyway. So those are the quick announcements. Go on distributing, go on chanting the holy name. Thank you very much, Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtan. Hare Krishna. Thank you for your association.
Thank you. Thank you for the class, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.